You're in the kitchen.
Yo! What's up, everybody? This is Anna Bright and Dylan Frazier here, the hosts of The Drop, the #1 podcast in pickleball, despite this only being episode 1, and you guys don't really even know what you're listening to yet. Dylan, do you want to say a little bit about yourself for all of our fans?
Yeah, when I started my pickleball career, I didn't really think I'd end up at a point where I'm doing podcasts with someone talking about pickleball, but I'm very excited about the idea, very excited for this first episode. There's several other podcasts out there. They've got Rob Nunnery and Adam Stone's It Feels Right. Tyson McGuffin does a podcast. James Ignowich does a podcast. And I guess these are all our competitors now. And I feel really good about our situation and being able to be the best podcast out there.
I mean, we've got the whole community of the kitchen behind us. Come on. Also, as long as we can make Dylan be the #1 performing Selkirk podcaster, that is pretty much my job. And I'll be the best podcaster in this apartment. That's the goal.
That's the goal. I think it's definitely attainable.
Yeah, James just screamed cap, but hopefully this mic didn't even pick him up. If you didn't hear it, then
I heard it.
Then no one else heard it.
I heard a faint noise in the background. I didn't know what it said, what he was saying though.
Yeah, no, I'll make sure that he's quiet the rest of this. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, everyone, we just thought that this would be really fun. I have been kind of wanting to do this for a while. And like months ago, I texted Dylan and I was like, Dylan, we have to do a podcast. And he thought I was joking and expressed no interest. And I told him that if I told his mom that I wanted to do a podcast with him, he would be doing one immediately. Never got to that point. I just had to nag him enough. And now here we are.
Here we are. Yeah, I definitely had some pressure from my parents as well as social media manager that I just started working with to do some more content related things. So it was good timing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good timing because we both just had some pretty good weekends. So Dylan, tell us, when did you start playing pickleball?
I started playing pickleball when I was 14 years old, so 7 years ago now.
Wow, okay.
So I consider myself like one of the OGs of the sport. I know a lot about pickleball in its early stages, and I've seen a lot of growth over my time playing pickleball. I wasn't playing as early as some of the actual OGs, like Kyle Yates, Dave Weinbach, and even people that predate them. But I've been around for a while, and I've seen a lot of things in pickleball.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get your knowledge interjected here and there. But so you've been playing for 7 years now.
Yes.
And this last weekend in Minnesota at Lifetime, indoors, you get your first PPA title.
Yes.
Pretty sick after 7 years. But how does it feel that James Ignatowicz got not one, but 2 titles before you after playing for about 14 months?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I got one upped at this last tournament by James.
You got double upped.
I got double upped by James at this last tournament, but feeling pretty confident moving forward that I'll be able to get some more gold medals on my list. Also, I have to point out that the whole 7 years first gold medal thing doesn't really add up because the PPA has only been a tour for 2 years now. So I've really only I've only had a chance to get gold medals for the last 2 years on the PPA tour anyway. My first gold medal was when I was playing 3.5 in the Missouri Show Me State games. Very first tournament. Or actually, no, I got second. I got second.
Okay, yeah, don't lie to us. Do you regret letting James get those 2 gold medals before you? Do you regret not calling J-Dub, calling Fed, calling Pablo, calling the PPA, be like, hey, this match needs to be on first?
Yeah, I should have rallied the troops. But yeah, I think our match deserved to be. Well, I think what they were doing was they were saving the better matches for later in the day. And so they wanted to get all James's matches out of the way early. But yeah, I don't feel so much pressure from James because I feel like his rivalry is mostly with Christian Alshon. I feel like the comparison between him and Christian is made more than between he and I. So honestly, I wasn't thinking too much about his gold medals trumping my 1 gold medal in Minnesota. I was mostly just excited about the fact that he had 2 before Christian had 1 was my main thought.
Yeah. No, and it's pretty sick that one of them is in doubles because singles a little bit of a crapshoot without Ben. James's draw was also pretty soft in that you know, he faced his first real opponent in Jay DeVilliers. I mean, he did play Christian in the quarters, but we all know that was a rout despite the funniest thing was Christian's tweet. I think I told you this. Like,
Yeah.
so James is like in his interviews talking about how much of a rout this was. It was so dominant, shouldn't even be on TV. And then Christian tweets, so who wants to see my 11-6, 11-8 loss to James Madowich?
Yeah, he was definitely advertising it. And I think I saw a highlight video somewhere of like he playing a point against James and he went for a tweener and it was like a really good shot almost, but he missed it. But that was the one shot that he picked from that match that he decided to like advertise to other people and then encourage them to watch the match, which he lost to James. So that was very interesting.
Yeah,
I think he's like in the rivalry that is kind of forming or has already formed between he and James because it's a lot of people are starting to pay attention to it, so it's kind of good marketing for him.
is this a fair fight? All right. Christian wins a match on center court. Christian, we all know Christian's had some wins, but I don't think he's ever gotten a center court PPA interview. Are
Yeah,
you looking forward to that interview?
I am. I want to see what Christian has if he feels the need to kind of fight back or like come at James or if he's not concerned about that at all. So I'll be interested to see what he has to come up with.
Yeah. How long do you think until Christian gets that center court interview? What do you think? He did say he was going to be number one in 6 months, 6 months ago.
Yeah, I don't think Christian is quite on the path or trajectory that he initially projected himself to be on at this point, but I think he's improving at every tournament, so it could be as soon as the next one. Like he's playing pretty well. J Dub and I played him and Rafa at this last tournament, and it was fairly competitive, and I know he's got some good singles wins now, so I think he's right there anytime now.
In the players' lounge. So I don't know where you were, but Rafa and Christian got fifth, which is a great result. Like I was really surprised, like happy for them. Of course, Rafa's like, I got fifth, Anna. You got to give me one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I know, Rafa. I know. But he's also like talking to everyone. It's like, I'm up there, Matt's there, Lucy's there. He's telling everyone how he got second place. He's like, we lost to the champions. We only
Yep.
had one loss. If we don't hit J Dub and Dylan, we're in championship Sunday.
Yep.
And I don't know if Fed or Pablo were there to say anything because they're going to play you guys in the final. But Matt's like, they haven't even played the final yet. And Rafa's like, come on,
Come on.
come on.
Come on. The
Rafa's
fi-
telling everyone,
the
he got silver.
I mean,
Just-
the final was when J Dub and I played he and Christian second round. That determined who was going to win Minnesota right there.
no, for sure. No, no doubt. I have a question. So the semi of you two, you and J Dub versus Matt and Riley. I watched that match actually like yesterday morning while I was eating breakfast. I have no idea why. But you know why I wanted to watch it is because of the dialogue between Jim Kloss and Lucy Kovalova on Facebook. Have you seen any of that?
I'm not aware of this. No. What happened?
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I'll have to send it to you. But basically, for everyone interested, there's this guy who does stats on all the pro pickleball matches. I'd imagine most people who would be listening to this would be aware. And he's done a lot of stats on Matt and Riley's matches. And his conclusion is pretty much always that Matt is the worst player on the court and is speeding up the ball too much. And Lucy in the comments is just like flaming him the first time. Then Jim is like, you're right. I look at one match. I need to look at another match. He looks at another match. TOC, when Matt and Riley beat Ben and Colin.
Hmm.
Matt's speed up percentages, and we remember that match. Like they called it like the battle and break. Great match, like insane play, like speed up, like never seen that before in men's doubles. At the end of the match, Matt's speed up percentage is 50%. Riley's is like 75%, something insane. And he's like, conclusion: when Matt is average and Riley's above average, they win. When like Matt's like below average and Riley's less than like 60%, they lose. Lucy again going crazy. not crazy, but like arguing in the comments. Dane Gingrich is piping in. And then Jim's like, I'm going to look at another match. Looks at when Matt and Riley play you and J-Dub, reaches the same conclusion, even though they won that one too. And then Lucy's like, peace out. I'm done. Like, conclusion, you are Riley's number one fan. When Riley wins, it's because of Riley. When Riley loses, it's because of his partner.
That's
So I
amazing.
think I went on a bit of a tangent there, but I think that's why I wanted to watch that match. Is just because that was such a funny exchange. And like Tyler Leung like tweeted about it too. Like, love seeing pros like argue in the comments with random people.
That's amazing.
Just hilarious. But where I was going with that is, was there more hunger in that semifinal or DJ and Jay versus Fed and Pablo?
Oh man, I think man, it's close. Like on the surface, you have to say like DJ and Jay, like their match was a lot way more animated than our match was. Like there weren't very many come-ons or let's goes or like any kind of exchange or I guess even paddle throw at the end of our match. Like there was a lot on the line. There appeared to be a lot on the line of the other semifinal match just based off how it went. But that was a fun one to watch. Like I remember J Dub and I got like a front row seat to that match before it started because we knew it was going to be entertaining. And after I think Fed and Pablo started up like 4-0 or 5-0 against Jay and DJ, and then DJ like kind of gets involved in the next point for kind of the first time he's involved, and he kind of wins the point, and he goes, "Let's go!" like really loudly. I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's on." And the rest of the match, the rest of the match was great. Mostly because I was watching DJ. His reactions throughout the match were entertaining, but also just a very competitive match, and it was two good teams. And then obviously at the end of the match, you had DJ's paddle toss, which basically went pickleball viral. And so
That's
yeah,
a good, yeah, that's a good word. Pickleball viral.
it was great.
Yeah. That's interesting though, because you're semi, like everybody thinks like you're essentially playing for the title, right? You guys versus Matt and Riley. Anything can happen. Always anything can happen. But in a best of 5, I think the better team usually does win.
For sure.
And then on the other side, you have two teams fighting for like, they're like, shoot, do we get another championship Sunday? Like,
Yeah.
is this it? So I thought it was a really interesting dynamic, and that was a great match. I also have to give Dylan credit. So you won men's and then bronze in mixed,
Yeah.
and you guys beat Matt and Lucy, and then lost to Julian and Lauren. But Julian was like having another MLP weekend, and I thought Lauren played unreal, and then beat myself and Riley. And I just want to give Dylan a shout out, everybody. Dylan Frazier can Ernie now.
Yeah. It's about time.
What did it take, Dylan? Because I swear to God, when we played together, you would Ernie like maximum twice a tournament, not like twice a match, twice a tournament. And the success rate on average was probably like 25%.
Or lower. Yeah. I don't know what happened, but it definitely clicked in Minnesota. I've been telling myself for a while, like, I think it's a pretty well known fact that I'm one of the most athletic guys on the tour. And so like Ernie being one of the more athletic maneuvers in pickleball that you can hit, it just made sense that like I had to get it figured out at some point. So
Right.
I've
Right.
been practicing it a little bit, and for whatever reason it clicked in Minnesota. I think when I got the first one on you, I had a lot of confidence, and it just kind of snowballed from there for you anyway, because I got a few more. I definitely had a few more that match, and since then, like I've been practicing and I've gotten some more Ernies. Like it's a shot that I have and that I can pull from now.
Wow, that's great. You can just fall back on that. Did you Ernie any other women that tournament, or was I just?
No, it was mostly you. Like for whatever reason, I was
Damn.
reading you like a book.
Damn, that's so tough.
I don't know.
Literally, like
Yeah.
the next day, for everyone listening, Dylan and I are texting, and he's like says that he has become like, what did you say? You said like the best.
Ernier,
I don't know. You said you were like the best Ernier
top
or
top
something,
3.
and I said like don't get it. Oh, you said you were a top 3 earner. I was like, don't get it twisted. Like Callie was still better, because although Dylan earned me probably like 3 or 4 times, like I think Callie still earned Riley like just as many times.
Yeah.
just an unfortunate match.
But it was kind of overshadowed by my Ernies since I hadn't ever Ernied
Just because they're
before.
so surprising,
Yeah,
because
right,
it's
right.
it's never been seen. It's a shame it wasn't broadcast, honestly. And then Dylan proceeded to say that the Ernie hierarchy in pickleball was like Tyler, James,
James, then
and
me,
then like then you,
then
and
me.
then you said someone else was who was fourth. That was funny. Like
Gabe Tardio.
guitar. Yeah, God. Yeah. So just a really really accurate. I think you should have put Matt Wright on the list.
Yeah, after Gabe, right after Gabe. Yeah, he can throw some
With
Ernies out there.
every like few months that passes, Matt's like ability to Ernie, I feel like right now is just. I mean, I've only played Matt like once, and I still got Ernied. I think like once or twice, including on match point. But at that point, I was so tired, like I couldn't dink behind anyone, and then I still can't apparently. At least when playing Dylan, I got Ernied on Friday also, or just a couple days ago. So it's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough. Dill is. We got to see Ernie on the right though, Dill.
yeah, definitely not as natural. I guess having to hit a backhand. I guess that's yeah. I guess you hit a backhand when you're Ernie from that side. It's a little tougher to read. I don't know why. I'm better at the left, but the right
Hmm.
side's more difficult.
Well, you're still not that good, so there's room to improve.
Getting there. Minnesota
Yeah.
was like my breakthrough, and I kind of owe it all to you. So I thank you for that.
God, shouldn't have taken you to Buffalo Wild Wings that night.
Too kind.
Right after losing, we take Dylan to Buffalo Wild Wings and drop him off at his hotel. What a gal I am.
Yeah,
Just a complete
but I,
stud.
I also have to throw in there that after our bronze medal match, I asked James if you guys could give me a ride home, and he said yes, please come with us. Like, please help break up this tension that there will be in the car ride home because that
Yeah,
was
I
after
think
you guys had played too.
it was probably it was yeah, like when I like caught up to you guys leaving the facility, because as soon as we lose the bronze, I just charge off.
Yeah,
I just leave, and then I'm walking so slow. I see you and James ahead of me. I'm just like, ugh, we have to give Dylan a ride. And then James is like, "Is it okay if we give Dylan a ride?" And I'm like, "Of course." But
yeah,
it was just so funny. Yeah. Then we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. Then we all went to our hotel, and yeah, everything was chill, but just kind of funny. Um, Yeah, I think the last thing, do you think that kind of the craziness of Minnesota, I mean, we didn't even talk about the women's side, but Callie and Lucy, like, I don't know about a surprise gold, but they haven't won in a bit. So I thought they were playing really well. You know, they're kind of using those new Onyx paddles. But kind of a bit of a crapshoot of a week in a sense. Do you think that's like normal in a Ben and Annalila's field? Or do you think we see this more often this year, even
yeah.
with them?
Well, I mean, like you said, Ben and Lee weren't there, so I think the gold medals were up for grabs, and I think people knew it. So this was like everybody's chance to come out there and win without having to go through a Ben or an Anna Lee. And I think I was, Callie and Lucy, like you said, haven't been performing maybe as well as a lot of us had thought to start this year. Minnesota is what, the fourth tournament this year, or third, fourth, and first few. Well, they made the final at the first one, Masters, and then after
Right.
that, kind of had two tournaments where they
And
didn't do
and
as
kind
well.
of underperformed at MLP too.
Yeah,
Like that's
right,
another
right,
event.
right. So I think questions were starting to be asked about this team and if they're going to be able to continue competing at the highest level, or at least as what they were capable of in the past. And then they came out and won gold in Minnesota. So I think they proved that they can still win at the highest level together.
Yeah. No, I was really. I mean, obviously, I lost to them in the semi, but that's the best I've seen Callie's thirds. All the women kind of know generally when you play that team, and any stats that have been done, it's like Callie is seeing close to 100% of the thirds, and they were really solid all the way through, which is I think huge for them. They were getting to the kitchen. I'm sure she's put in a lot of work on that, so that's really huge. And I also thought they made some adjustments against us. Me and Andrea didn't play our best, but Callie, I feel like this in mixed too. She's not the best dinker. She's more known for her hands. But she was really avoiding dinking backhand cross with me and was hitting some like extremely dead dinks, like middle and up the line that were just bait. I don't even know if she meant to do it, but it was just, I felt the same thing in mixed, like against you guys. Like she hit some dinks that were just so dead, and I feel like I had to do something, and I just attacked you. But it's tough. It's like everybody knows that's like such a bad dink. And it's like you're so ready. And
Yeah.
Callie's like already slid. She's got the two-hander clock. So I think that's something that I hadn't really dealt with before. And I think it gave Andrea a lot of trouble, especially since Andrea was usually in front of Callie. So it'll be interesting how the game kind of goes, and if that's something that they continue to do, or if she was just avoiding the backhand cross so much with me, because obviously I like that pattern. I'm pretty good in it. So
Yeah, you're good.
yeah, it'll be interesting.
You're a good cross court backhand dinker. So not surprised that she was trying to avoid that. She was playing really well in mixed doubles, that's for sure. She played very well the whole day.
Yeah, no, Callie's a stud. She's a freak athlete. Um, a lot stronger than me. Like James, like asked her once how many pull-ups she could do because I'm on my quest to be able to do one pull-up, and she was like, I don't even know what she said. She's something about like this CrossFit workout, and then she gave James some exercises for me to do to help me achieve my goal of one pull-up. I'll keep you guys posted on that, but at the current rate, it might be a little while. It might be a long while. But I went from needing 70 pounds of assistance to only 50 pounds of assistance. And I only weigh like 145 pounds. So I just want everyone to be super impressed with my pickleball ability, because a freak athlete I am not. And have never seriously claimed to be. Dylan knows about that. Dylan, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about, we competed in a different sport today that wasn't pickleball, and kind of how that went.
Yeah, so we decided to duel it out in tennis today. Anna came in very confident in her chances of beating me, partly because she thought I was going to be horrible, and also partly because she thought she was going to be great, or maybe not great, but
I
better
didn't think
than
I was
she
going to be
was.
great.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
I thought it'd be okay.
She thought she would be okay. She was a little less than okay, especially on the forehand side.
We
Um,
just got to preface this though, everyone. Like, Dylan did not play tennis. Like, Dylan is actually a freak, because Dylan he's been playing pickleball for 7 years. So he's got a lot of like racket background of just pickleball, but no tennis. I was like a top 5 recruit going into college. Like, I was good. So of course I think I'm going to smoke this kid, right? Like James had told me Dylan was good, but I had said like I may lose a set, but I would grind it out and I would win a match.
yeah,
So you can continue now, Dylan. I just want people to understand how funny this is.
yeah. So what I think the moment I knew I was going to win was when you hit your first forehand ground stroke from the baseline in warmups. And since it was pretty much non-existent, all I knew, all I had to do was hit to your forehand. But yeah, so we started out. Anna had a nice kick serve, and it kind of bounced the opposite direction of what I was expecting. So that threw me off a little bit, but recovered, found the forehand, got the first game, and after that, it was pretty smooth sailing. Ended up, and on my serve, I don't know. I can hit like a tennis serve, but not consistently, so I have to underhand serve. But it actually suits me pretty well because, well, I guess Anna did a better job of returning, but when I've messed around with tennis in the past, like it usually gets a shorter return. I thought it was going to get a shorter return from Anna based off a video that she sent me earlier this week when she was in a tennis match back in her college days, and she did a two-handed back slice return short and then got hit by the next ball. So
AKA
I
a
thought,
drop shot.
aka drop shot, got nailed by the next ball by her from her opponent. And so I thought that if I just underhand served the whole time, I'd be fine. And well, it turns out I was fine, but not for the reasons I was expecting.
You were very much fine. Yeah, Dylan destroyed me. He beat me 6-0. Like, if this was rally scoring, so then Dylan won 24 points, like I probably won like 8
Yeah.
8 points, honestly. I think we never got to deuce. We got to 30 like twice.
Yeah.
I might have even won like 6 or 7 points. It was so bad. I got beat 6-0 by a kid. I shouldn't even say a kid, but just by someone who has never played tennis.
Yeah.
And I thought I might lose that set and win the next two, but I thought I might lose it like 6-4. So Dylan's a stud. Like, I think a freak. I think that Dylan, if you had played tennis for as long as I played tennis, like you might be beating Novak Djokovic right now.
Yeah, I was talking to some other people that were asking about how tennis went today between you and I think when I sat down and thought about it, I think you give me 6 months and maybe a top 200 player in the world, like if I work really hard at it.
Yeah, but you still probably, even though you can Ernie now, your overhead. I don't know if that's a tennis level overhead.
Yeah, but there's ways around not having an overhead, I think. As long as I don't play someone that's really really good at moonballing, then I'll be fine. Because those the few
Oh,
points I
golly.
lost in our match today were when you were hitting really good moonballs.
Yeah. He also initially called moonballs skylobs, which I thought was absurdly cute. I've never heard skylobs. Then he immediately corrected to moonballs. It's like kind of the same thing, but not. It's like so that was yeah. But Dylan destroyed me. I can't play tennis anymore, so I'm all in on pickleball, guys. If anybody was unsure of that. Um, okay, Dill. Let's talk about. So, have you seen all the MLP like challenger transactions?
Uh, a few, only a couple of them actually.
Have you heard of if any trades have been done at the premier level?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything. My GM told me that they were approached, but immediately said like, no. I don't know what it was. I don't even know if any trades have happened. I feel like it's kind of hard to make moves when the pool is the pool. So, but the challenger level I thought was pretty interesting. I mean, like the Ranchers dropped Steve Deacon. I think Dallas dropped Chuck Taylor. I was really surprised. Like those guys, and it's tough because teams all have to make their drop decisions before they see anyone else's really. And so now it's like those guys aren't playing at the challenger level. It's just kind of crazy, I think.
Yeah, I was very surprised to see Chuck go, and even Steve really to some extent.
I mean, I'm not surprised that the Ranchers made a change. I don't know who they picked up. Scott Dorner. I don't know who that is. He's got a really high duper though. I saw, but like, it's kind of sad. I think though that like those are really good players, and they're not playing.
Yeah,
Um,
I think maybe more action would be happening at the premier level if you're allowed to drop and then maybe even be able to like pull a minor league or not a minor or the challenger league players up to the premier level. I think maybe we'd see some more action then. But right now, all we're allowed to do is just trade with other Premier League teams.
what do you think? What are some teams that you think might do something if that were possible?
Well,
Or whose knee might get broken? Because if someone is out for injury, you can pull from those players. Like so, for those who didn't know that, like if a man were to become injured or a woman, teams could choose to either pull from the challenger level, same as this event, like from teams who lost, or I think my understanding is they could also pick like Chuck Taylor or Steve Deacon.
right. I mean, like in other sports like the Challenger League teams, or I guess in other sports they're called like minor league teams, are affiliated with like a Premier League or Major League team, and so that Major League team has the ability to kind of pull and recruit from the minor league team that they're affiliated with, but it's just different in pickleball because all the teams are owned separately, so that's not really a thing. But I feel like especially from the like Christian Alshon and Pablo Tejas are two guys that could probably play on a Premier League team. They're both playing pretty well right now. Pablo just made a final. Christian's getting better. Um, so I don't know. I feel like there's players from the Challenger League that could play at the Premier level now.
For sure, 100%. I think on the female side, I mean, those two names you might have also been impressed with Stefan Auvergne. He played with James in Legacy, the Carvana PPA, and he impressed me, and I think he's a good mixed player. So there's also always like an interesting dynamic with being lefty. But on the female side, I think Bobby has kind
Yep.
of showed out a little bit the last couple weeks. I mean, obviously, her and Sarah's run to the semis at JW Marriott was super impressive. Not only did they beat Callie and Lucy, which is already like I was like me and Georgia and like some of our other friends, we were watching that match like, oh my god, like is this happening? Is this happening? Is this really happening? And it happened. We were like, oh my god! Like I think I immediately just like walked away. Like I didn't want to have to see like Callie and Lucy because I wasn't going to be able to hide like how funny I thought it was and how happy I was for like Bobby and Sarah. But then Bobby and Sarah, I finished my match, and then Bobby and Sarah are like up like 10-8 in the third on Georgia and Andrea. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's just no way. Like, this is going to happen again. And
Yeah.
it did. And then at that point, I'm like, shoot, like, they're probably going to beat Leia and Elise because on paper, at that point, I did think that Leia and Elise are probably the worst team of those three.
Right.
Like,
Right.
obviously, Leia and Elise have since balled out. But at the time, like, that was what I thought. And I was like,
Yeah.
are Bobby and Sarah going to make Championship Sunday at a PPA? Like, oh my
And
God.
they won the
And then
first game. Yeah.
they did win the first game, but then I think that they might have ran out of gas a little bit, or they
Ran out
or
of
Leia and
magic.
Elise,
Yeah.
yeah, ran out of magic probably a little bit. But I also think Bobby is like super tricky when she's playing well, and they're both Bobby and Sarah are really really good dinkers with like tricky attacks. And I played Sarah once, and Georgia and I almost lost to Sarah and Corinne in the APP Chicago. Like we won like 11-9 in the third, and I had never seen both of them play that well. It's not like I've been in pickleball that long, but generally I felt like against them, I just like speed the ball up and sometimes don't play the smartest. But that day I was getting punished for everything. So I'd imagine that they were just on everything and initiating smart. And I do think that Sarah in front of Lucy, she has some attacks that I could see would work really well. But yeah, Bobby's really impressed me. Obviously, Sarah had a great day there.
And in pickleball too,
Who
like
else?
I feel like upsets are a little more likely to happen than other sports because you play like best 2 out of 3.
Right.
Pickleball match lasts, can be over in 30 minutes or even less. So the chances for the team that's not favored on paper of winning are a little bit higher than other sports where you play for an hour or longer to determine who the better team is.
Right. Also, I think Eva Radzikowska, the MVP of the challenger level, I think a lot of teams will have their eye on her, but I watched her play some. I thought she still looked pretty raw.
Okay.
And then we've also got the addition of Jill Braverman and Hurricane Tyra Black,
Yeah.
who is on the list of available females. She's like her duper. It's like hashtag NA, hashtag NA, hashtag NA. But she made the list probably from some influence. What do you think about that pick by the Brooklyn Aces? They dropped Sierra Gayton Leach. I'm sure they wouldn't have done that if she couldn't have played the second event. But what do you think of that pick?
Yeah, I haven't actually seen Tyra play, but I've heard from James that her potential is very high right now, and I think James is projecting her to be one of the better female players in a relatively short period of time. So I think it's good to take a chance on someone like that at the challenger level. Um, I don't know.
How
Have you played?
much can we trust James? Because James has said that Dave will be one of the is coming. Dave has been coming. You can listen to James's first interview. It's probably with Scott Golden or something like 10 months ago. Dave is coming. Where is Dave? Where is Dave? We could put a picture on the screen of Dave today, and everyone would be surprised in how Dave is coming.
Dave is nowhere to be found at the moment, but he did have some success recently in a local tournament here in Florida.
Did he?
Second
Did he? He
in
got
men's doubles,
silver.
second in men's doubles 5-0. I'll let you hit on that in a second, but also first gold and 5-0 mixed doubles with Tyra Black.
Tyra did play the left
Did she?
in mixed.
Okay.
Dave's a lefty though.
Yeah.
But yeah. So everyone, Dave got silver in men's 5-0 this weekend. Losing to myself and Georgia in the final. Me and Georgia went and crashed a men's 5-0 because Dave, like, nobody knows who Dave is because Dave has not played one real tournament. He could have played the World Series of Pickle this weekend. He didn't. He could have played the Boca APP Masters. He didn't. He could have played the APP in Daytona. He didn't. Like, the guy won't play a tournament. This is his second, I think it was his second ever paddle tap. The guy just trains. He trains and he trains and he trains. And James told me that he was actually going to play the men's 5-0. I texted Georgia, do you want to play the men's 5-0 paddle tap this weekend? And we did, and we had one mission. It was to win, ideally beating Dave and James' other friend Jericho, which we did not once but twice. But the first time was actually in the winners bracket final. We beat them like it was win by one, like games are win by one, and we win 11-10 in the third.
Oh,
I
wow.
really thought we were gonna lose. But we clutched out. We mainly like iced Dave though. Jerry was having a bad day, and Georgia and I were having obscenely high success rates with attacking him. I think if we pulled this up, it was like live streamed to Facebook. Like we were like Jerry cannot be feeling good about himself. We sped up every single ball so disrespectfully. Like
Yeah.
I think Georgia had a 95% success rate against him in hands, and I was probably at like 90.
Wow.
It was tough. They started pulling like those switches to avoid having Jerry in front of Georgia to the extent where they would serve on like the sides they were supposed to be on, and then they would switch. Like
That's
there was
amazing.
no stack. They would just serve and switch.
Yeah.
It was so. The only other time that I've like done that was when me and James played you in Georgia
Yeah.
in Beer City, and that was like when it came to that like kind of tomfoolery, but that did happen
That's like the
on
game within
Saturday.
the
So
game.
yeah,
Switch into the
it's
right
like
spot.
there's yeah, it's like and it's like if you don't get it right, you feel like you've just lost the point already. So
Yeah.
that happened. Tyra, I do think, is a stud. She is a better athlete than every other woman in pickleball, including Anna Lee. I played against her actually today for the first time, and there were some net cords that you just think are over, and the girl got to them. It was insane. Her defensive hands were really good. She wasn't actually hitting the ball that hard though, but I think we'll start playing with her. I'll be really curious in how good she gets and how fast.
Yeah.
She's playing this APP this next weekend in Daytona with Corinne Carr, which is like a great first time partner. Corinne's a rock, and they're on the same MLP team, so it makes total sense. And she's playing with Dave, so the
Okay.
dream team. They want a local 5-0. Are they ready for pro?
We'll
They might
see.
have to qualify, but Dave is also using like I don't really want to talk about this. I feel like everybody talked about it, but Dave is currently using a legacy that's like so delaminated. It's insane. Like Dave was complaining about getting iced out yesterday, and I told him I was like, if you used a different paddle, we would hit you the ball. But it's obscenely dangerous. Like you see Dave is driving, and we're just taking like 6 steps off the line to try to block it. Like it's so dangerous. I told Georgia to bring glasses
Yeah.
because Dave's paddle was so bad. And Georgia couldn't play in glasses. She took them off after a couple points, but I left them on. So if Dave is allowed to use that paddle this weekend, they're going to be dangerous
Okay.
just because Dave is dangerous.
What is Tyra's tennis background? Do you know?
Tyra was really, really good. Is she like ranked around 200 in the world? Ranked around 200 in the world, but honestly, I think that she could be a lot better. James knew her when she was younger, so she just didn't like tennis. Doesn't like tennis at all, actually. So didn't train too much. But I don't see any like she's such a good athlete. She's a better athlete than almost everyone in the top 100. So, but she loves pickleball. So I think that's someone who should be on everyone's radar. It's a great pickup by the Brooklyn Aces. I feel like Rob Nunnery is a guy who's always looking for loopholes a little bit and also kind of looking for an edge. And I think that was some good research. He was asking around, kind of knows that, we in Florida have kind of a feel for who might be new and talk to James. And yeah, so, and, other teams had kind of heard of her. And so I think it'll be really interesting to see
Yeah.
her debut in Daytona this week.
Yeah. Also, just in general, having more up and coming women players is exciting too, because I feel like it's a little more rare to get that than it is on the men's side.
Yeah, 100%. Like, when's the last time we had a Dylan Frazier on the men's side?
Yeah.
Like someone who just plays
Well,
for 7 years and then just becomes good.
yeah. A talent
Sorry,
like
Dill.
a talent like that doesn't come around very often. So maybe not the best example,
Someone who
but
just keeps trying, keeps going, keeps going. Like, isn't Johnny Goldberg kind of similar?
yeah, I don't
Hasn't
know.
Johnny
I
been
don't know
around a
how
long
long.
time?
I don't know how long Johnny's been playing, but I think for a while now. Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot. If you had the verbal arsenal that Johnny has, how much better does that make you?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably like on
Like,
a duper
mm,
scale, point
yeah.
0.15 points better.
Like, can you imagine Matt and Riley like try to like crap talk you? I didn't know if I am allowed to curse or not there. And you just come back at them with something so random and so perfect. Like this was my favorite thing when Johnny was saying for all. It made no sense. Um, it's like someone was crumbling, like either Christian or Dave for sure, and James is like, "Is this crumble cookies?" You know, and then Johnny got it in his head to say cookie crumble. So anytime someone was missing for like the next week, he's like, cookie crumble. And it just made no, but can you imagine like Riley hits a speed about you, you like block it or he misses and you're like, bing bong, cookie crumbling. Cause you know, they like to smack talk. And like, I think Matt actually told James once after they beat you guys, maybe I think it was at Legacy. He was like, you just gotta like talk trash at them and they break. I don't think that's true, but just funny, you know. But
Yeah,
if he thinks that next time he comes at you, you just like, bro, you're bald, you
you're
know. And
bald.
we all saw that video that memes of pickleball. You've been bald since you were in college,
Yeah,
you know. You just hit him with that.
yeah, that's a good one. I think it's funny. I think it's really funny that Matt thinks that's a good strategy against us because I think it just goes over both of our heads, honestly. Like I
Yeah,
think
I think it probably
I,
does.
I don't think that between JW and I we could come up with like a single thing that really stuck with us or like got to us like that came out of Matt's mouth. Like I don't think we remember anything. But that's funny.
Well, it probably just if it gets him fired up,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
then I guess it's worth it for him to do. I actually like I didn't really know what I thought of Matt. You know, I always thought he was a little bit, you know, trash talker and stuff, but I've talked to him. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I've talked to him more in the last couple weeks and I've decided that as of right now, I like Matt.
Yeah.
I like Matt a lot. I think he's really nice.
I think he's a
I don't know
nice
if I
guy.
should say really nice, but he's been very nice to me the last couple times. I've spoken to him.
Yeah, and I could say the same thing too. He's been great to me, especially when I was kind of up and coming. I was a 5-0. I used to travel over to Wichita to play with he and Lucy and Pat and Jay and get practice with them, and they were nice enough to let me play with their groups, even though I definitely was not at their level at that time. But it was great practice for me and pretty key in my development and improvement at the time. So I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, that's so sweet. All right.
Yeah.
I think we should preview Daytona and Austin, and then I think we should. I think we're let's wrap it. So my first question, Dill, is: do you and J Dub take gold this weekend or in Austin? Like, how are you feeling for a repeat? Ben is back. Ben is back with Colin. We didn't even really talk about like Colin and James's day. I think it's everyone is always very interested when Colin doesn't play with Ben. But that was a little. They had a disappointing day, but I mean, Ben and Colin are still going to be Ben and Colin. So
Right.
how do you feel about your and J Dub's chances to take gold, like either this next weekend in Daytona or in Austin?
I think pretty good. I think we're both going to be playing with a little more confidence just based off how the last tournament went, and we've kind of got a better or more organized game plan now than we have in the past, which is basically just the fact that a game plan exists means it's an improvement for us.
That's really true.
So I think we're feeling pretty good. I think we were on the same page like all of last weekend, and we've been practicing some more since I've been here, and we're doing pretty well with it. So I think we've got a good chance if we play well to be able to come out on top of the next tournament.
Which side of the draw would you rather be on, right? Because you know you're going to be either the 3 or 4 seed.
Hmm.
So it's either Ben and there are other teams that, of course, you know that you want to be wary of that are really good, but it's
Right.
kind of like a big three right now. So would you rather be on Ben and Colin's half or Matt and Riley's half?
Yeah, I think right now maybe just because of how the last tournament went, maybe on Matt and Riley's side, just because we won that
Right.
last matchup in 2 games. The second game was very close, but we won in 2 games nonetheless, and we felt like we had the right strategy. So I think if we just executed it again, but maybe that would make me want to be on Ben and Colin's side more because we'd only have to win the best 2 out of 3 against them, and then play Matt
Right.
and Riley best 3 out of 5 on Sunday. So if the
Hmm.
goal is truly to get first and not just make it the championship Sunday, then I think probably we want to be on Ben and Colin's side.
Wow. Dan Gingrich would be really proud of that take. Um, but you should be hoping to win 13-11 in the third rather than in two games to truly embrace the Dane Gingrich mentality. But
Of
don't
course.
need to harp on that. I think another big storyline is the return of the Muffin Man, Tyson McGuffin. My New York hustler, ride or die. It'll be interesting to see how he plays. He's playing with his OGs, James and Catherine. So two partners who both had a really good weekend. So
Yep.
that's a little bit of pressure.
Yep.
I know he's not. He this could have changed, but he said that he's not playing singles in Daytona, but is planning on playing in Austin. Another question I have is why are we going Daytona, Austin, Daytona?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good question. That's not
come
that's
on,
not fun.
come on, PPA and MLP. I thought we had a strategic alliance. Don't make us do that, especially for those of us like myself who live in Florida. It's so nice to be home.
Yeah, definitely could have done better there. Another
Oh,
storyline going into this weekend.
another storyline. Why are we going Daytona, Austin, Daytona at the same venue? The same venue. All
And
right.
and for the first time this year, James and Anna partnering together in mixed doubles. That will be very exciting to watch.
Yes, that maybe not as exciting as against each other for people.
For me, yep.
But yeah,
I'm one of those people.
maybe for Dylan. I don't think anyone enjoys James and I playing against each other more than Dylan. He will regularly send us screen recordings of the paddle taps, like at the end of the matches. Like this guy just like loves to stir up
The paddle
the
tips that
drama.
never were. They don't
The
happen.
paddle taps that never were. They're like just like like my last one. But yeah, so James and I's debut. I think I feel more pressure than I probably should. It's not like I didn't also just win a mixed title like 2 weeks ago, but I feel like, oh my God, like I don't want to like let him down. But yeah, we'll be doing that, so that'll be interesting. We were just absolutely beating up on Dylan in Paris a few days ago, so hopefully,
You're only as good as your
we
last game. That's all I have to say.
we did lose the last game, but it was like 11-7, 11-4, 11-2, 11-2, and then
And
when
then
James starts thinking about Arun's Indian Kitchen, which he did, he literally was like, "Oh, can we go to Arun's?" And then he was like, "Oh, we're gonna go to Arun's with Dylan." And then he missed like two shots, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I can't focus. I'm just thinking of Arun's."
we're done.
This unreal Indian food place in our area that we had Dylan try. It's kind of over. That's when it's done, when he starts thinking about Indian food. But yeah, you're only as good as your last game. That's fair. I think another big storyline is Paris Todd in a PPA.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of talk about Paris. We all see her on Instagram. We all see, she's like traveling a lot. First, I think she got one triple crown and then kind of I don't know about she didn't triple crown in Daytona. I don't know if we should say it's a surprise. But she didn't. I think some of her matches, though, have been closer than I would have thought. Like, her and Simone have been pushed, like a lot of 3-game matches. They went to the game to 15 against Megan Fudge and Alex Trong. Like, no disrespect to any of their opponents, but like,
Right.
you kind of think that Paris and Simone are the 1 and 2 females in that field.
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of surprised how they've been pushed in women's. And then in mix, she's playing with Hunter Johnson, who is definitely one of the best men on the APP side. But you got to think if she was playing mixed with Andre, like,
They'd be cleaning it
come
up.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think, right?
Yeah.
You would think. I mean, Hunter has a sick drive, though. Like, that's a really tough team to play, like, 2 really good drives. But yeah. Also got to shout out Brendan Long. Him and Bobby won there. I think I forgot to mention that. And I think Brendan is a stud. I'm really glad he got picked up by Miami. I think him and Regina could go undefeated in mixed at the challenger level. I think that's a really, really good mixed team. But yeah, Paris is playing with myself and Mr. Riley Newman. So
Yeah. Be
that'll be
interesting.
interesting. She's got good partners. This PPA debut. She has not played a lot of the PPAs this year, even though some people thought she would. So we'll see. I'm really excited to play with her. I think we're a pretty good natural fit, and I think Paris hits the living crap out of the ball. When you catch her where she's sitting,
Yeah,
I don't
tough.
know if anyone hits harder. It's
She was I watched her play a little bit at this World Series of pickleball event that they had in Florida this weekend, and she and Millie were the only two females to make it to the final nine players, and she was playing pretty well. She was in contention to win or at least be in the final four all the way up until the last couple of games. So she was playing well.
we got to shout out our friend Millie. Paris and Millie in the first round beat Andreas Seelstrom, the giant, who's like, I don't know, 6'7", 6'9", and Joey Farias, a team that won gold at APP Punta Gorda, got like silver or something, I think, at the Boca Masters, like, and they beat them 11-4.
Yeah,
Are Paris and Millie those chicks? I think so.
I think so.
That was so funny so we walk into the venue because Dylan and I played tennis at the same place today, and so he was watching. I watched just a bit, and I walk in and I'm just talking to Andre because they're like on a break, and he's sitting down inside, probably smart because these guys are playing an obscene amount of pickleball. And I had just watched like Andre beat like Millie and Austin with Joey, and I was like, yeah, like you can't really afford like a loss to one of the girls because Andre is the heavy favorite to win this, right? So a lot of times there's like 7 men and 2 women, and you can't really afford. It's kind of, you need to win dominantly in this format because it's a money ball. You need points. And he was like, Paris and Millie beat Joey and Andrea's first round 11-4, and I was like, what? That is so funny. So girl power. I also got to say, we did another little money ball on a few nights ago. I went in there not expecting to win at all. I'm like, I'm just here, to play games, like whatever, like come on. I'm doing the tropical
Come
come
on.
on a lot. Come on. Go in there. I always bring intensity, definitely bring more intensity than some other players there, like Gabe Tardio, like Dylan Frazier past 9 p.m. Uh, you know, probably was not bringing more intensity than James and Federico. I don't think anyone. I was probably bringing about as much as Fed, but James really wanted it. Um, your girl came in with third place. First place James, second place J Dub. If James and I, the last round, James and I beat or lose to Annalie and Dylan, and if we had won that match, I actually would have gotten second place.
Yeah.
And James knew that. I think that might be a reason we lost. I didn't know that.
He was feeling the pressure, or he didn't
I
want you
think
to
he
get
was
some.
feeling the
Okay.
pressure. I think he was feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
That was
is
a
there
good finish.
anything else
That
like
was a good finish.
for Daytona that's like of interest?
Um, Not that I can think of. We'll be back outdoors.
Yeah, we'll be back outdoors. Ben and Annalie are back. The Muffin Man is back. Oh, Jay is playing with Andre Diescu. I think that'll be
Oh,
interesting.
really? I didn't know that.
It's also Andre's PPA debut, but I
Okay.
don't think he has a mixed partner because he mentioned to me today to let him know if he knows of anyone. But I think it'll be a really fun weekend.
Yeah.
Who are you? Oh, you're playing with Jade, right.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Is there anything else, Dill, that you want to say to all of our fans?
Thank you guys for tuning in to the first episode of the best pickleball podcast out there right now.
Just the best podcast period.
Best podcast period. Yeah. No need to specify
I think
pickleball. Best podcast out
we
there.
don't need that. This isn't going to go pickleball viral, just viral.
Just
This is
viral.
like James's split step. This is going to be everywhere.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.
Anna and Dylan out.
Out.